good afternoon, and welcome to episode 35 of Inside the Wrongful Conviction of Daniel Holtzclaw. Today, we're reading the trial testimony of accuser Carla Raines. Last week, we did her preliminary testimony, and today we're going to do the trial testimony, the direct examination by Lori McConnell, who will be, Kay will be reading the part of Lori McConnell. And we'll also read the cross-examination by Scott Adams. I'll be reading the part for Scott Adams, and I'll be reading the part for the court. Uh, Susan, Inexplicable Susan, is going to read the part for Carla Raines. At some point during this testimony, there's going to be a sidebar, and we're lucky we have transcript of the sidebars. So while Scott Adams and Lori McConnell are doing the sidebar with the court, Susan is going to read the part of the court because Carla Raines won't be speaking um, during the sidebar. And I just remembered that I think Galen Gigger sticks his big mouth in the middle of the sidebar. So um, Susan, do you want to read the part for, or not Susan, Kay, do you want to read the part for Galen Gigger as well in the
Sure.
sidebar? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So welcome everybody. Susan and Kay, thank you for being here. Thank you for reading this testimony with us. And I believe we're live right now on YouTube and on Twitter or X. So, um, check us out in either place. And I think we're going to go ahead and jump. It's far less pages than I was expecting it to be. I thought it was going for whatever reason. I counted 76 pages, but I made the PDF incorrectly, I guess, for Kay and Susan. But anyway, it's not 76 pages, it's only 46. So we'll be able to get through this pretty quickly, I think. If we have time, of course, I have all the time I want, but depending on Kay and Susan, I also have some news about Richard Glossip that I want to share with you at the end, at the end of this live stream after or not after we're finished reading the transcript. So, if you want to hear what information we have on Richard Glossip, stick around after we read the transcript because we'll talk about that pretty quick after we're done reading the transcript. So, okay, ladies, are you ready to go?
Ready?
I know you are.
Yep. Ready.
Okay. So what Carla Raines was called. She's been sworn in, and we'll start with the direct examination by Ms. McConnell.
Miss Raines, back on August 15th, 2014, this detective that's sitting here at our table, Detective Gregory, did did you make contact with him or did he make contact with you?
He came to my house.
Okay. And did he ask you a question about whether something had happened to you?
Yeah, he asked me if I had contact with an officer, and he asked me if, ma'am, if you could just lean into that microphone. Okay. And he asked me to give a description of him. He asked me what happened.
Okay. Before this date, when you came into contact with Detective Gregory, had you ever talked to anyone, any police officers, about what had happened with this officer?
No,
Had you had you had you had contact with an officer that you told Detective Gregory about?
as far as what happened,
Yes.
yeah, I told him what happened.
Oh, let me ask you this question, ma'am. Where were you whenever something had happened with a police officer?
It was on 16th Street in Fontaine.
By Fons Hill?
Uh huh.
Is it in Oklahoma City?
Uh-huh.
Is it in Oklahoma County?
Yes.
Do you know approximately what time you came into contact with this police officer?
Not really for sure what time.
Do you know if it was morning?
It was it, um it was like evening towards nighttime. It was dark. Kind of dark a little bit.
It was dark outside.
Uh-huh.
Were you by yourself when you came into contact with this police officer, or were there other people with you?
I was by myself,
What were you doing that night?
walking.
And where had you come from?
My mother's house. My mother stayed on 14th in between Kellam and Missouri.
And where were you headed to?
Just a friend's house.
So while you're walking, this police officer made contact with you?
Yes.
Okay. And tell me about how he made contact with you.
Well, I was walking west on 16th Street. He was going east towards Martin Luther King, made a U-turn, pulled me over, asked me what I was doing. And I'm asking, well, why was he stopping me? Because, I mean, I had my ID on me and everything. And he's just asking if I had anything on me. And, I mean, I had on some jeans and like a jacket, kind of like this. And I'm like, I don't have anything on me.
Well, and let me stop you there, ma'am. This police officer, was he by himself?
Yeah.
And when you say he pulled you over, was he in a patrol car?
Yeah. He stopped the patrol car on the street and got out.
What did that patrol car look like?
It was, I think it was a black one. I think.
One of the older style black and white cars or one of the newer style?
New ones. I think it was a new one. I think so.
And you said you had your ID on you. Did he ask to see identification?
No, not that I remember.
Whenever he first made contact with you, did he immediately ask you to get in his patrol car or did he talk outside of his patrol car?
He's asking me where I was going, if I had something on me. And then we got in. He asked me for my name and stuff and have I ever been to jail and just, questions like that. And
So, did those questions take place in his patrol car?
those did, yeah.
Okay. Where did he have you go within his patrol car? Were you in the back seat?
Yeah, I was in the back seat. And then when I got out, I was sitting at the back of the car, towards the back of the car. And that's when he just asked me, I mean, saying, did I have anything on me? But it was basically toward just my, this area here, because like I said, I had on some jeans and a jacket. And
And I want to make sure I understand, Miss Raines, before you got in his patrol car, did he perform any search on you?
no,
Did he ever do what we call a pat search or check your pockets or any of your clothes before you got into the patrol car?
no, he just pointing toward my body. He didn't touch it. He just pointing towards my body.
So he never put his hands on your body?
No, he just was like saying if I had anything. And I was like, I don't have anything on me. And it was just like I say, it was mainly like toward my breast area, like you know,
Well, and let me make sure I understand, ma'am. When when you say he asked, "Do you have anything on you?" Are those the words specifically that you remember this officer saying to you?
Uh-huh.
And you keep kind of motioning with your hands toward your breasts. Is that what this officer was doing? Was motioning toward his chest area?
More or less, like, yeah, because he was talking about, no, he was like using his finger, but he was just, it wasn't like one point, like, you have, do you have anything on you? And, but it was like toward this area.
Okay. Was he pointing toward that area on himself or pointing toward that area on you?
Like on me, like, like doing like this.
Did he make any other motions with his hands when he said, "Do you have anything on you?" besides pointing toward your breast area?
Nope.
Did he point toward any other part of your body besides your breast area?
Not that I can remember. I don't know. Not that I can remember.
And the first, well, how many times did he ask you the question, "Do you have anything on you?"
A couple times.
The first,
I'm not for sure how many number of times he asked me, but
it was more than once.
yeah.
The first time that he asked you, did you respond to him?
Yeah, I don't have anything on me.
And then did he immediately ask you again, "Do you have anything on you?"
Yeah, then just basically came down to that because as I was telling him, I, like I said, it was just basically toward my breast area. Like, but I kept saying, I don't have anything on me. I say it. Do you see I have a jacket and a shirt, like a thin t-shirt on, and I was just, he was just like, you might have something on me, or I can't really remember word or word, because I was just like I say, I was trying to just, I mean, I didn't have anything on me, and
Whenever he was asking you this question, is this while you were sitting at the patrol car or while you were standing?
no, I was outside at the back of the patrol car.
Okay. And was he standing right next to you?
No, like in front of me, not next to me, but like in front of me.
After he asked you this question more than once of, "Do you have anything on you?" what happened next, Miss Raines?
1 second, guys.
This is hideous. Her testimony is horrible. While Susan's away for a quick second, I just want to say hello to Sheila Hawkins and to TJ. Um, Welcome, and thanks for being here. Any lurkers out there, thank you for lurking and listening. Appreciate you guys.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
It's okay.
What line are we on?
19.
I just kept saying, I don't have anything on me. I don't have anything on me. And he just, like I say, it was just, I don't remember the conversation word for word, because I started getting kind of scared.
Why were you scared?
I don't know. Just the way he sounded, it, it just the way he was talking. It just, it was just like it just, like, like saying that I had something on me. He gonna make me have something on me, and I don't know. It just kind of scared me a little bit. That's all I can say. It just kind of scared me a little bit, and so, like I said, when I'm sorry for yawning. I don't sleep good. It just like I said, it was pertaining toward it was just mainly to my toward this area because I'm like don't have, no pockets or anything. So it's mainly toward this is the only area that it could have been speaking of. And this is the area that I saw him looking at.
Okay, and after he asked you that, did you feel like you had to do something?
Not at first, but like I say, it was just, it became toward, like I say, this area because I'm like, I don't have anything, I don't have no pockets and I have a little bitty jacket and I know for a fact that he couldn't search me. I know that a woman officer would have to do that, which that was not even discussed.
Sure. And let me stop you because Miss Raines, you kind of keep saying that you kept showing him that you didn't have anything on you, and you're kind of indicating towards your pockets. Did you show him that you didn't have anything in your pockets? She just said she didn't have any pockets. Hey,
Yeah,
Rhonda, can you take over for me? This is Daniel, and I need to take it for a minute.
Oh yeah, you bet.
Okay.
Um, Tell him we said hello.
yeah,
Quick hello to Joffrey and Liam and hey Tony, hey, it's great to see you here. Thank you for your support. Thank all of you for your support. Okay, I'll take over for Kay reading Lori McConnell's part. Okay, what line was it, Susan?
line 3.
Line 3. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, it just was nothing nothing in my pocket. Like I say, it was just more or less. He looked at this area right here because I said I don't have anything. I had on little bitty jacket, little thin sports jacket. I had on some kind of jeans fit like this, and I'm
what happened next?
like I said, it was just he kind of just looked toward this area of my body, and I kept saying I don't have anything.
On your breast area?
Yes, and so I can't remember everything word for word. I can't. I can't remember everything word for word.
Well, what did you do next?
So it just to the point. It got to the point to where I just took my hands underneath my bra and raised my shirt up like this.
Did you raise your bra up at the same time when you did that?
Yes, yes. I like I say, I kept telling him I don't have anything.
Were your breasts exposed when you did that?
Yes, it was.
How did this officer act after you lifted up your shirt and bra exposing your breast?
Like he was satisfied.
Okay, sorry. Why do you say that?
Because he let me go.
Did he act shocked by what you'd done?
Nope,
Have you been stopped by officers before?
no,
Has an officer ever indicated or motioned to your breast area for you to raise your shirt before?
nope.
Wow, those lies could not be any more blatant than they are. Okay, uh, line 14. And I want to be clear, Miss Raines. Did this officer ever ask you specifically raise up your shirt or anything?
Like I say, I don't remember word for word. I don't want to say yes and I don't want to say no, but But the conversation just led toward me having something up in my breast area.
Why do you think that raising your shirt and bra was what this officer wanted you to do?
There was nothing. He, this is the part of my body that he was looking at. It wasn't, like I said, I had on a small jacket, little small zip up jacket. So that's where he more or less looked at.
Okay. Did you think you had a choice but to raise up your shirt and bra?
At one point, not really.
And when you say at one point, do you mean at the end of this contact?
Yeah.
Oh my God, she testifies for the witness almost as bad as Galen Gigger does. This is insane.
Hey, I'm back, guys.
Oh, okay.
Okay. That was quick.
Excuse me. Okay, you're on
Line
line
8.
8.
Uh, why did you think you? Why didn't you think you had a choice?
Because I mean, what 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 else was it? I mean, there was nothing else discussed. There was nothing else being said. It was nothing else. No part of my body being looked at it. And like I say, once it happened, let me go.
Did he say anything to you after you raised up your shirt and bra?
If he did, I really didn't hear it. I was just trying to get away.
After he let you go, what did you do next, Miss Raines?
You scroll down, Rona. Oh, kept walking. Sorry.
Did you tell police what happened? What had happened?
I didn't tell. I didn't say anything.
Say that. Say that. I didn't hear you.
No, I didn't. I didn't say anything.
Why not?
I just didn't say anything. Just didn't say anything.
Did you think that the police would believe you if you told them what had happened?
Not really, no.
Or why not?
I just didn't. Just didn't.
This officer that we've talked about, who he stopped you around Northeast 16th and Fons Hill, do you see him in the courtroom today?
Uh-huh.
Can you tell me where he's seated and what he's wearing?
Right there. Got on a black suit.
You indicated to your left. What color tie is he wearing, ma'am?
I wear glasses. It looks kind of gray. Mr. Gigger.
Your Honor, may the record reflect identification of the defendant?
The court. All right. Record will reflect.
May I have a brief moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
The court. Cross-examination.
By Mr. Adams. They're telling me that I'm very quiet in the chat, so I'll try to speak up. I'm never accused of being too quiet, but I'll do my best. Miss Raines, as we sit here today, do you know what the date is of the alleged event that you came into contact with Officer Holtzclaw?
March 14th.
Okay, and how did you come about that date?
When I was in contact in with the DA, they let me know.
God.
Wow.
Wow. Sorry. They told you what the date was?
Yeah, because I didn't remember.
Because do you recall the first time you ever met Detective Gregory here sitting at this table?
When he came to my mother's house on Kate, on Northeast 18th and Kate.
And that would have been in August of 2014.
Uh-huh.
Is that a yes?
Yes.
You would have to agree with me that prior to August the 14th of 2014, you hadn't you hadn't spoken to anyone in law enforcement about any of the things that you've testified here today, correct?
Correct.
In fact, do you recall whenever I talk about Detective Gregory, you understand this gentleman sitting here at the end of this table, correct?
Uh-huh. Yes.
And he arrived at your mother's house.
Yes.
Did you know he'd been looking for you
No.
for quite some time?
Nope.
Okay. Why why did he know why did he know to find you? How did he know to find you at your mother's house?
Well, a lot of times I use my mother's address.
Okay, but that's not where your driver's license is listed, is it?
No, it wasn't my apartment address.
Do you know whether or not he'd been attempting to leave messages for you?
Not that I know of.
Okay. But you would agree with me that when you first came into contact with Detective Gregory, you had not only talked to anyone from Oklahoma City police officer or an officer, but you had not reported a crime of any kind, correct? Against you.
Against me? No.
Okay. Now, what happens is you first talk to Detective Gregory, and at the beginning, you don't have a clue of what he's talking about. You're not giving him any information, correct?
Right.
In fact, and then after you talk to him for quite some period of time, he then decides to then go ahead and record the conversation, correct?
I'm not really sure for sure when he recorded the conversation.
Well, do you recall him turning on the recorder and saying, "You're not telling me what I want to hear"? Do you recall that?
Uh-uh.
Is that a no?
No, I don't recall that.
Do you recall him telling you that he's investigating an officer committing sexual assaults on females in the Oklahoma City area?
Yeah, I remember him telling me.
And do you recall telling him specifically that you are not a victim of anything like that?
No.
Okay. Do you recall specifically also telling him while you're being recorded that you at no time had ever exposed yourself to this Oklahoma City officer?
No, I don't recall that.
You also then at the time you also then at the time recall the detective telling you that or asking you whether or not you've ever exposed anything below your waist to this person?
I don't recall. I never said that before.
Do you recall telling Detective Gregory you had no, you don't know what he's talking about?
I don't recall that.
Basically, Miss Raines, do you recall the very beginning of the conversation with Detective Gregory while it's being recorded and after you've had an off the record discussion with him going through a scenario of 5 different events or whether or not you had either exposed yourself or an Oklahoma City officer had ever been appropriate with you in any sexual manner whatsoever, and you told him no on 5 separate occasions. Do you recall that?
Uh-uh. No.
Okay, if I allow you to listen to a recording of that conversation, could that refresh your memory?
Maybe. Yeah.
May I have a moment, Your Honor?
The
Come on
court.
up.
Come on up.
Sorry, go ahead.
The court. You plan to refresh her recollection?
Refresh her recollection with a recording.
with a recorded interview conducted by Detective Gregory with this witness?
Yes.
Everybody on board that this is in fact the interview?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm assuming he's going to show her the recording.
Do what?
There's a recorded interview of Miss Raines with Detective Gregory. So, I mean, if that's what he plays for, I think it's appropriate for her to listen to it. If
For the record, Your Honor, I have the headphone again. I'm gonna offer to introduce this video, this audio tape also, but I'm not there yet. But I'm gonna offer it after she listens to it.
I I don't I don't know that I'm gonna. I think I'll probably object to that, Judge. But
The court. Okay. Well, we're not there.
I'll cross that bridge. Right.
We're not there yet.
All right. So, as we did, I think, Friday, do you plan on having this witness listen to it with headphones on? See if this refreshes her recollection of conversations with Detective Gregory?
Yes, sir.
All right. Have him just bring it up.
And can he use the headphones again? Is that how you want to do it?
Well, have you got a specific part that you?
Yeah, I've got it. I've got it queued up. Just so the record's clear, it's about 1 minute and 14 seconds during the discussion. I just talked to her about it, and he has it queued up to where it starts and where it ends.
Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. What's going to happen is we're going to have apparently an audio played from Ms. Raines that she's going to hear in headphones for about 1 minute and 14 seconds to see if it refreshes her recollection.
Okay, she listens to the portion. Miss Raines, did you have an opportunity to listen to the recording that we allowed you to listen to?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Did you have an opportunity to listen to the recording with the headphones on?
Yes.
Does that help refresh your memory of your discussions with Officer Gregory, with Detective Gregory back in August of 2014?
Yes.
It does?
Uh-huh.
Was that an accurate depiction of your voice and Detective Gregory's voice on that video, on that audio tape?
Yes, along with my mother's. Yes.
And seemed to be altered in any way?
No.
Move for the admission of defendants number 2, the audio recording, Your Honor.
May we approach, Your Honor?
All right.
Judge, I would object to the admission of the interview. I think that if he wants to refresh a witness's memory, he can ask her questions about specifically the portion that her memory's been refreshed on. I think that's appropriate. To admit the whole interview or even a portion of it it's inappropriate at this time.
Oh, okay. So why the hell would that be inappropriate? Somebody tell me, please.
Because it's super incriminating to the state. So that's
Okay.
that's very inappropriate to
And to this
be able
witness
to,
as well. Yeah. Impeach.
yeah,
God.
yeah, that is definitely
Stupid argument.
inappropriate.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's bad. It's really bad. Well, she's already screwed her testimony under oath up so bad already as it is. I don't know. Okay, line 6. I asked that it be introduced, Your Honor, as impeachment evidence. It clearly that it not only just her, but also it impeaches Detective Gregory in the way he asked her the questions, and he was leading her, and she kept saying no, 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 no. until finally, after some additional information, she goes along with their story. So I'm going to ask to introduce it at this time.
I didn't hear the last part. Scott, what'd you just say?
Huh?
What'd you say at the end until finally she said what?
Until finally she goes along with basically Detective Gregory's story.
Judge, it's not impeachment of anything because he hasn't even asked her the questions about what he hasn't given her a chance to admit or deny whatever statement he's trying to impeach her on. He's just refreshed her memory, but he hasn't gone the next step. And even after that, I still don't think, unless she denies it again, that intrinsic evidence would be appropriate. He hasn't taken the 2 steps that he needs to take after this.
The court. You said you want to introduce it as impeachment evidence?
I'm introducing it actually as extrinsic evidence. This goes along with our theory of defense that in fact these weren't victims, that these were people that the Oklahoma City Police Department was coaching. Basically, that she starts out the interview no, no, no on 5 separate occasions until he finally gives her some additional information. And then she says, oh, yeah, well, this deal did happen. So I'm trying to play the. As for the doctrine of completeness, I think the whole interview ought to be coming in, and that's what I'm asking to do is for the entire interview from start to end.
Judge, it's still not impeachment evidence because he hasn't asked her a question or given her a chance once again to admit or deny whatever statement he's trying to focus her attention on. That is what would be impeachment evidence. And if she denies it and he has substant subs oh my god substantive oh my god, this is one of those corroboration words for
Yeah,
me.
I get it.
Substantive,
Evidence of it.
substantive.
I'm gonna be practicing that one later. Glad my husband isn't in here to laugh at me right now.
Hey, I practice my word from time to time, so it's good.
Then perhaps extrinsic evidence would be admissible, but he hasn't reached that point yet.
Before I go on as Mr. Adams, what didn't he try to start asking her the questions and then there was an objection or something like or asked to go
she
approach the or am I
she asked
wrong?
her all of them and she denied it. She denied this, saying
Right.
what's on the
And so
recording.
and so I feel like Adams is I think it is impeachment evidence.
I do
And
too.
I don't know how she's standing there with I'm assuming a straight face saying it's not impeachment evidence and that he hasn't asked her the questions yet because I'm pretty sure he
Well, I think
has.
she's saying after her memory was refreshed, he hasn't again asked her these questions.
Yeah.
I thought he was using the recording to refresh her memory. She didn't listen to any of the
Right.
recording, or did she?
Yes, she
She did.
did.
Oh, she
She
did.
listened.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Sorry, I was texting someone.
And that's where we
She
stopped. That's where this got into this discussion. He hasn't asked her anything since she listened to the recording.
Got you.
okay. Line 25 by Mr. Adams. She's fully, completely authenticated the tape as being her voice and that of Detective Gregory's. It's not been altered in any way, and it's extrinsic evidence, and I'm asking that it be admitted for the doctrine of completeness, and I'm asking for the entire interview to be admissible, be admitted.
The authenticity isn't the issue, Judge. It's the fact that it's improper impeachment of this witness at this time. The authenticity is not the foundational issue that counsel hasn't crossed yet. It's the fact that he hasn't crossed the impeachment.
The court. You got some section of the evidence code that will allow that in that you believe?
Well, she's already denied on record that she said that she doesn't recall any of those events happening. I used it to refresh her memory, but also to get her to authenticate the tape that that's her voice, and that is Detective Gregory's voice, and it has not been altered in any way. And so I'm asking that it be admitted. 2803.5, a record containing a matter in which a witness once had knowledge but now has insufficient recollection to testify fully and accurately, shown to been made or adopted by the witness when the matter has refreshed the witness's memory and reflect that knowledge correctly. The record may be read into evidence, but may not itself be received as an exhibit unless offered by the adverse party, which is obviously Officer Holtzclaw. And 2804.1, Your Honor.
And you were saying,
I rely upon 2803.5 that I just read into the record. Also, 2804.1A as an exceptional circumstance, but if the judge doesn't believe it's covered there, it's an exceptional circumstance not covered by 2803, 2804, 05, and 06, but possessing equivalent, though not identical, circumstantial guarantees of trustworthiness, and it's not excluded by the hearsay rule.
I'm also having a hard time finding 2804.1. Are you having a hard time, Judge?
yeah,
Mr. Adams, the judge and I are having a hard time finding 2804.1. Is that what you stated on the record? 2804.1?
That's what I have in my book.
Under 2803.5, I still don't know what a foundation has been laid, but I'll withdraw my objection as long as it's played in its entirety, because I don't think it's appropriate to play a snippet and not take the statement in context.
all right. So do we have a disc or something?
Yeah, I have
Uh,
oh wait, sorry, that isn't me.
yeah, I have a judge. Here's Gigger
Giver.
chiming in.
It's on a disc.
We're confirming that there's not anything on there that should be redacted, and if there's not,
That's at this point, that's
I mean, I understand you haven't listened to it to the extent.
not for admissible purposes, no. And so I just want to make sure we don't do anything that's going to blow this thing out of the water by accident. I'm not saying Mr. Adams would intend to do that. I'm just saying by accident, I don't want to make an accident at this point.
All right. Let's take a 27-minute recess. Okay.
okay, then they go on recess. They have to be back at 3:30. Okay, line 7, Mr. Gigger.
Judge, can I have Miss Raines step down?
Ms. Raines, you can step down. Recess.
What?
Okay, they went on recess. Okay, so we're back in court. Okay, please bring the witness back in. Okay, Mr. Absher, continue. Okay, sorry. Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Raines, before we took this lengthy break, you had an opportunity with those headphones to listen to something that you recognize as your voice and Detective Gregory's, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
God dang it. Jesus. I'm sorry. I've got this side conversation going. I am so sorry that I'm screwing up your reading.
You're
That's okay.
you're fine. This is not professional. We're all just beginners, amateurs. It's fine. And again, I believe you testified that no way, shape, or form, to your knowledge, has that audio been manipulated in any way.
Correct.
All right. Now that you've had an opportunity to listen to that, would you agree with me that when the conversation is started, apparently you and Detective Gregory had some phone call?
What do you mean? Had some.
This prior to this face-to-face interview between you and Detective Gregory in August of 2014, apparently from listening to the tape, you and Detective Gregory had previously talked on the telephone. Do you recall anything like that?
No. No, I don't.
Okay. Well, then do you recall on the portion of the tape that you did listen to, did Detective Gregory ask you, had you ever been exposed yourself to an Oklahoma City police officer, and you answered no?
Right.
And he asked you several questions in that regard, 5 to be exact, where he was questioning you whether or not you'd exposed yourself, whether or not you'd been touched inappropriately, anything like that by an officer. And each and every time you said no.
Right.
Then after Detective Gregory, you're questioning him and you're asking him, well, how did you even get my name?
Right.
And Detective Gregory then goes through and explains to you that he's dealing with what he terms, and his words were, a very bad guy. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Is that a yes?
Uh huh.
And then he also tells you that he has lots of victims.
Uh huh. The port. Ma'am, you need to answer verbally. Yes. Okay.
Then, up until this point in time, you haven't said that anything happened between you and Officer Holtzclaw, correct?
Right.
Then you start talking about, in generalities, things that,
Objection. May we approach, Your Honor? I'm sorry, Mr. Adams, for interrupting your question.
Kelsey is.
Judge, so this conversation is had at the bench.
Yeah.
Judge, I've already withdrawn my objection in playing the video. I don't really see the point of him going through little items in the interview and not even asking, like, why she said that. He's just asking if they occurred, and I'm assuming the jury is fixing to hear, so it's kind of pointless to ask those questions.
Wow.
Mm.
I'm simply asking her independent knowledge of what during her interview with Detective Gregory, what was said. I guess fair game for cross examination.
Port. Well, it is, but why don't you kind of get to the real point you want to get to, and then we'll play the tape.
Wow. Okay. After you said no approximately 5 times, and Detective Gregory told you that he's investigating a really bad guy and he has lots of victims, and you talk in generalities about the neighborhood, for the first time you start talking about an interaction you had at 16th and Fonz Hill with an officer, correct?
Yes.
And you talk about it and in those discussions you admit that at no time did this officer, and again, you don't know his name, correct?
Correct.
You didn't know that it was Officer Holtzclaw that they were alluding to. And in fact, you had actually told Detective Gregory that you'd only come into contact with one officer in the last year, right?
Right.
So you knew exactly which officer they were talking about, correct?
I didn't know that it was him, but I knew he just I just gave him I just gave him a description of who the officer was that I raised my shirt at.
Huh?
Okay. She did not. Whatever. Oh my gosh. Okay, but during that entire conversation, you admitted that at no time did Officer Holtzclaw ever ask you to expose yourself to him.
Did I admit that?
Well, you told Detective Gregory in no uncertain terms on the whenever you interviewed with him back in August of 14 that at no time did Officer Holtzclaw ever request, instruct, or order you to show your breast to him.
Well, he just kept this area was the concentrated area on, just like I said, and of course, and you can see that if you can, if I stand up, you would see that the same thing, what I had on then. And the place that was concentrated on was just this area right here that was concentrated on, whether it was by eye, word, or a pointing. This is the area that we both knew that he was concentrating on, was just this area. So I got to the point to where I just took my hands and I raised up my breast, raised up my bra and my shirt to say that I don't have anything on me.
Okay. And I believe it was Detective Gregory that interjected the word, quote, we call that a clasp and shake, unquote. Do you recall that?
No,
You don't recall that being said?
nope.
Your Honor, I move for admission of defendants number 2, Your Honor, which is the tape.
No objection, Your Honor.
I'd ask to publish.
All right. Defendant's exhibit number 2. And how long is this?
27 minutes, I believe.
27 minutes. All right. Ms. McConnell, can you help with that? Another bench.
Oops, sorry. Uh, oh, sorry, Susan, line 10.
Oh, counsel, what are we introducing?
We're introducing the DVD, which is an audio recording of,
I thought he was plugging his phone in.
no, that's a drive. That's not his phone. It's a drive.
He's got it on a hard drive, Your Honor. And what I'm assuming then counsel will do is substitute the DVD after we play it. But apparently the DVD is in their office.
Are we 100% absolutely sure it's the exact same thing?
We just listened to it back there.
I thought we were listening to a DVD, but apparently we were listening to what this is.
You know what? Gigger needs to shut his fucking mouth. Why is he even speaking? Ugh. Sorry.
I'm saying whatever you're going to introduce for the court reporter to have into evidence, we got to make darn sure it's the exact same thing as we're fixing to listen to.
Mr.
Mr.
Gray.
Gray. Oh, did you want to read it, Susan? Okay.
Yes,
I'll read
Judge.
it. I'll read it. Okay.
Somebody read it.
Mr. Gray was Scott Adams' co-counsel. So apparently he was handling the evidence and exhibits and stuff. That's why he's chiming in. But I'll read his part too, I guess. Okay, you got enough. Line 5 by Mr. Gray. Yes, Judge. What we did was they gave us 100 DVDs and we put those on external hard drives so we could carry them around.
Make sure before you even bring that tomorrow,
I will.
make sure you listen to it and it's the same thing and it works because it'll go into evidence. And while the jury will deliberate,
Judge, I've got it on this. It has other stuff on it, but I'm sure that's gonna be it.
If it's easier, we can play that. I understand.
the thing is, she's going to have it while the jury is deliberating. They might want to listen to it again. And so I don't want that to be the first time it's played.
I understand.
But for the record, what we're doing is going to publish the interview on the disc council. On the disc council is putting in our computer right now. There's also some photographs and some other stuff on it. So, as I understand it, the interview we're listening to had to come from this disc because that's what we copied and gave to the defense counsel. So, it should be the exact same thing.
Right.
Okay, let's just make darn sure it's the same thing we put in here.
I agree. I understand. Miss Raines, you had an
So they played the
opportunity to.
tape. They played it.
Yeah, they played the
It's like,
tape. Sorry. I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Ms. Raines, you had an opportunity to listen to the tape in its entirety. Does that refresh your memory of what you told Detective Gregory back in August of 2014?
Yes.
Now, in that conversation, we hear some discussion about, you would agree with me that during that conversation, it was asked of you repeatedly whether or not Officer Holtzclaw either ordered you or asked you to either show him your breasts or pull up your bra, and each time you said no.
Right.
Because he never did that under your version of events, as he was saying, we need to make sure you don't have anything under there. And the way you were indicating, I wasn't there, but it appears you were saying he was looking at your,
This area right here.
just like you just indicated. Now, in regards to your conversations with Detective Gregory, you also talked in there about, and I just want to clear it up for the record. At the end of the conversation, there's apparently some discussions about some female officers and maybe something that happened. That, again, has nothing to do with Officer Holtzclaw, correct?
Correct.
And then again, there at the end, you're talking about some black officer with Vice that said that something was going on there. And again, that has nothing to do with Officer Holtzclaw, correct?
Yes.
Now, Miss Raines, you still to this day don't even know when this alleged event occurred, correct?
Not the exact date and time, no.
I, I just find that almost impossible to believe. Uh, but you were told by the DA's office when they think it occurred, correct?
Yes.
Are you aware of the fact that you came into contact with Officer Holtzclaw back in July of 2013? I knew it.
No.
The officer that you've identified in here today, it's your testimony. The only time you ever saw him or came in contact with him was the incident you described on the audio tape and what you've told the jury, correct?
Right.
Okay. But if the records reflect that in fact you came in contact with him back in July of 2013, you don't have any specific recollection of that?
Oh, I don't.
And at no time did you ever see Officer Holtzclaw use any kind of flashlight, correct?
No, I don't remember.
You also, during the interview, stated that this encounter with Officer Holtzclaw that you've discussed in the interview and here in court today lasted approximately 45 minutes.
Something like that.
Would it surprise you to learn that all the records, including the automatic vehicle locating system, shows that Officer Holtzclaw is in that area for only 10 minutes?
No,
Would that could it have been as short as 10 minutes?
well, it didn't seem that way. No, because like I say, he was just saying, stopping and talk to people. And like I say, I was in the car, ran my name on the computer, took me out of the car. So if that happened in 10 minutes,
And I'm just simply asking you the question if, excuse me, pardon me, if whether or not all the records that we possess, if it would show that the AVL, the automatic vehicle locating system, places Officer Holtzclaw in that area for only 10 minutes, would you dispute that?
if that's what it says, why would I dispute it?
And I'm not saying that you necessarily would. I'm just asking if you do.
No, because I don't know. I don't know how long he was in that area.
Miss Raines, are you a convicted felon?
Yes, I am.
Okay, let me just refresh back to the very beginning when Lori McConnell, the ADA, asked her if she'd ever been stopped by a police officer before, and she said no. Like, no. One word answer, no, never been stopped by a police officer before.
Yep.
And now she's admitting to being a convicted felon. God. Okay, just wanted to point that out. Line
And the
15.
other stop with Daniel.
Yeah, plus the other stop last summer, the summer before with Daniel. Yeah, jeez. Holy crap. Okay, line 15. And again, that's nothing that Officer Holtzclaw even talked to you about, is it?
Well, I mean, like I said, he ran my name on the screen. It's on there.
Okay, but he didn't talk to you at all about your previous felony convictions, did he?
I don't remember.
Do what?
I don't remember. I don't remember.
You also, during that conversation, you listened to it. You talk about people thinking you might be a snitch. Do you recall that?
I said that that could happen to someone. See you standing out there talking to. I didn't say that I would be labeled as that. I'm saying that it could. That could happen. Someone could see you in that neighborhood. That neighborhood was not a good neighborhood at that time. So it can happen. That's what I was saying to him.
Miss Raines, and certainly I don't want to suggest any way, shape, or form that you did such a thing. I'm just saying that we hear some discussion on there about you not wanting to be labeled as a snitch.
Right. Saying, I mean, because he's holding me there on Fons Hill Street.
I understand. And basically what you were explaining is to be labeled a snitch in that particular neighborhood is not a very good thing. Would you agree with me?
Are you asking me a question? Yes.
Okay, and you said you weren't doing anything like that, but you were in the back of Officer Holtzclaw's car for a very brief time, correct? Oh.
Correct.
Uh, and from listening to the tape, it appears from at least what I can understand is you did not quite understand even why Officer Holtzclaw was even talking to you.
Nope.
You seemed like you were somewhat irritated that he had pulled you over.
Right.
When I say pulled you over,
He stopped me.
whenever he confronted you, because you were just simply walking down the street Would it surprise you to learn that this contact you had with Officer Holtzclaw came at about 11:30 at night?
Well, I said it was at nighttime. I didn't know the exact time.
And I'm just saying, would you agree with me that if the records show that it was about 11:30 at night, that's probably when it was?
Okay.
And it also appears that you were asking Officer Holtzclaw, why are you stopping me? Why are you even doing this? And he was trying to explain to you that they were stopping and talking to girls and other people in the neighborhood, making sure they were okay. That's what he told you.
Okay. Yes.
Now, after she's very easily suggestible. Um,
Yeah.
Now, after you had an opportunity to visit with Detective Gregory, you went and hired a lawyer here in Oklahoma City to sue the city of Oklahoma City, Officer Holtzclaw, and the police department, correct?
No,
You did not?
I don't have an attorney.
Okay. Have you ever heard of an attorney by the name of Mr. Hammonds or Ms. Roper?
Huh.
Is that a no?
Huh. I never heard of them.
Okay. Did you authorize either one of those lawyers? And I want to be very specific about this. Did you authorize Mr. Mark Hammonds or Miss Leah Roper, whose offices here on Dean A. McGee Avenue in Oklahoma City, did you at any time ever authorize them to file a lawsuit on your behalf against Officer Holtzclaw and the city of Oklahoma City?
I haven't retained an attorney.
Okay. May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
I'm going to hand you a document and ask you if this refreshes your memory in regards to whether or not.
Please do. No, I don't. Did I sign anything? Because I don't have any recollection of that.
Do you want to have an opportunity to read this lawsuit or just want to?
I mean, I just found out something could be filed, but I haven't talked to an attorney about this. I have not done this.
So, do you know how, in any way, that lawsuit has been filed here in Oklahoma County on your behalf?
It has been?
Yes, ma'am, it has been.
Okay, well, I didn't know. I'd like to have that information.
Well, have you been told by anyone to deny the existence of a lawsuit?
I haven't really, I asked about it, but I never really looked into it or get an attorney or any of that.
Well, do you know how this law firm has sued that they're representing to the court that they represent you? Are you stating under oath that you have not authorized any law firm here in Oklahoma City or any lawyers here in Oklahoma City to sue Officer Holtzclaw and the city of Oklahoma City on your behalf?
Not to my knowledge. Nope.
Okay. May I have just one moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
Pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right. Any redirect?
Yes, Your Honor. May I have one brief moment?
Yes.
Miss Raines, during the interview that we just listened to and the questioning by Mr. Adams, the defense attorney, that was just speaking with you. I believe your testimony was you're not sure when this happened. Is that fair?
Not really for sure.
Are you positive about where it happened though?
Yes, I'm positive. I know where I was.
And that was Northeast 16th and Fons Hill.
Yes.
May I approach the witness, Your Honor?
Yes.
Miss Raines, I'm handing you what's marked as State's Exhibits 187 and 188. Will you take a look at those and just tell me briefly if you recognize them?
Yes, I was standing right here.
How do you recognize these pictures, ma'am?
I live over in this neighborhood.
Is it are they pictures of Northeast 16th and Fons Hill
Uh-huh.
as it looked at the time that you were stopped by this officer?
Uh-huh. The court. Ma'am, you need to answer verbally. Witness. Oh, I'm sorry. You said, repeat the question.
Are they pictures of Northeast 16th and Fons Hill?
Yes.
And do they depict it in the same way it looked back whenever you were stopped by this officer?
Yes, it's right there.
Your Honor, the state moves to admit State's Exhibits 187 and 188.
All right, States Exhibit 187 and 188 will be admitted.
May I publish, Your Honor?
You may publish.
And I'm showing you on this screen, ma'am, State's Exhibit 187. Your Honor, may I have the witness exit the stand and point out to the jury exactly where she was stopped?
Yes.
I can report now, Susan.
Will you come and put on the screen for me, ma'am?
I was right here by this sign.
Right here?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. You can go and sit back down. And Miss Raines, I'm also going to show you State's Exhibit 188, which is a different view of the same street, correct?
Uh-huh.
You need to answer verbally, ma'am.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I understand.
And were you stopped right in this area? Am I pointing it out correctly?
Up a little bit, just like right by that sign. Yeah, right there.
May I have a brief moment, Your Honor?
Yes.
How many other times have you been stopped by an officer, Miss Raines?
I don't know. I don't know.
More than 10 times?
No, not more than 10 times. A few times, a couple of times.
And I'm not saying in just this year, in your whole life, have you been stopped more than 10 times?
In my whole life?
Uh-huh.
Probably.
Well,
I don't know.
sure. And I know you don't know an exact number. Did you tell Detective Gregory about any of those stops and allege that anything inappropriate had happened?
I don't remember, recall our whole conversation. I really don't. I don't want to sit here and say yes or no because I don't recall the whole conversation. I don't.
Didn't you just listen to it 5 minutes ago? Oh my God. Did you tell Detective Gregory about what happened with Officer Holtzclaw because that's what you thought Detective Gregory wanted to hear from you?
Judge, just object to the form. The court. All right, sustained.
Why did you tell Detective Gregory about what happened with Officer Holtzclaw?
Because he asked me.
Did you think that that's what Detective Gregory wanted to hear from you?
I didn't know what he was, because I didn't really know that what he was there for in the first place until, we started talking. So I didn't tell him what he wanted to hear. I just told him what happened.
I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
No questions, Your Honor. The court. All right, thank you, ma'am. You can step down and they can call their next witness. Holy crap.
Wow.
That was horrible. What a horrible witness. What a liar. Oh my
It's
gosh.
understandable why Daniel was acquitted on her charges.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, hi, Cherie. You'll
Hello.
come in at the end, so you don't have to read anything. I'm just
Oh,
kidding.
you're done?
we just finished.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
With the reading. Yeah.
with the reading, yes. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's insane. That was just the most blatant lies. First line, right? You guys, first line by McConnell. Have you been stopped by a police officer before? No. You've never been stopped by a police officer before? No. By the time we get to the end of the testimony, yeah, probably about 10 times. Oh my gosh. Oh, geez. I'm gonna try to get to. Go ahead.
And so they ask her early in the testimony because she makes the point that she had her ID on her. And did he take your ID? And she says no, that he didn't take her ID. But we've heard the call, the radio traffic from Daniel calling her in and mispronouncing her last name as Raines.
Yep.
And so there's a lie. And then she's never references again, like in prelim, she says that she had on jean shorts. Yes. Right after the police report saying jeans, right? Or maybe I'm getting those two things backwards, but whatever the case may be, the police report and prelim contradict each other as to what she was wearing on the bottom half of her body. Now she's just at trial, she's just referencing jeans. And so.
And a little bitty jacket. Don't forget that. Just a little bitty jacket.
How many times did you say little bitty? It's like, are you serious? Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, a little bitty jacket when it's cold outside, I seriously doubt she's walking it.
Didn't you say it was in the 40s?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So jean shorts and a little bitty jacket is one version of her story. And now she's trying to explain, why he wants to focus on her breast area. So now at trial is the first time that she adds this information that could be the only place where she had anything, because she didn't even have pockets or anything. So now her jean shorts or jeans, whatever it is, have no pockets now. I mean, I know there are jeans that have no pockets, but that's not super common.
It's just all made up.
I mean, she's just trying to bolster her reason that he's even focusing on her breast area.
And to have no idea that she's a plaintiff in a lawsuit.
Yeah.
That's pretty bizarre right there. I mean, but, going through all the civil stuff that we worked on, it's not shocking. And in a lot of those depositions, there's a lot of confusion about, when they contacted attorneys, when they actually even filed the suits. And the attorneys, when you get the filings are a matter of public record, so you can get those and look at them. But the attorneys seem to have formulated their filings based on, like media accounts of this whole situation, which, are not factually correct, and why Daniel was convicted before he even got a trial. Um, so they had a real that just was never going anywhere because the attorney screwed it up from the beginning. So,
And they,
yeah,
oh, sorry.
yeah, no, go ahead, Sheree.
For the depositions, and they didn't prepare the ladies at all. Like they would be questioned about, why are you suing, the city, and some of them didn't know, they didn't
Didn't know
coach
anything
them
about it.
like
Yeah.
like Kim and Gregory did.
Yeah.
It just didn't look good, but they had no clue.
Attorneys were just looking for a giant payday.
Well, and there's also, I think, Shardarian Hill and possibly Adara. I know at least, I know there's a few of them that are going to testify during their trial testimony that they didn't know that they claim they didn't know they filed a lawsuit or that a lawsuit was filed on their behalf. Um, I know Adara is going to admit eventually that, well, yeah, I did go to an attorney's office, but they sent me to this other attorney. She, tap dances around her little story, but pardon me. It is very strange that, that, the, these, well, and like Cherie was saying, even during their depositions when they're being questioned, they're just like dumbfounded and they have no idea. I don't even think half of them knew where they were that day that they were deposed, or what they were doing, or why. They just had no preparation and no clue. And I don't know what the attorneys thought. But then you have to remember, it was Benjamin Crump and his firm who were trying to represent these ladies. So
Well, there were actually 4 suits that got joined. So, and that was a huge thing. So Crump comes on the scene right away and takes on Janie Liggins, Shardarian Hill. I can't remember who all was in his group. And then
yeah,
you had 2 other firms that were representing, like Rosetta Great and a few others, and then another Oklahoma City attorney who was representing a few of the others. And then um, Gardner had her own attorney, if I remember correctly. So that was really a cluster F when it came time to try to set a trial date, because I mean, you've got all these different cases that need to be joined together, which they did finally do that.
right.
But it
And
was
then they
interesting.
finally did what at the end of the day, Kay?
Well, after everyone except Daniel was granted summary judgment, which means they were dropped from the lawsuit, and the city of Oklahoma City, who was the money, the means to get the big settlement, they were the last to be dropped, leaving Daniel as the sole defendant. Um, and then the judge said, "So does Mr. Holtzclaw plan on moving forward to trial?" And his attorney said, "Yes."
Yep.
And all of the other attorneys were like, "Holy crap, this is not good. There's no money here. What are we going to do?" So what do? They appeal the federal judge's um, summary judgment order, where he released the city of Oklahoma City from the lawsuit. They appeal that to whatever the circuit court is. which which stayed the case and put a hold on it until he ruled on that. And then somehow, even though the city of Oklahoma City has been released, and before the appeal judge makes a decision about if he's going to reverse the federal judge's order of summary judgment, the city offers these women a settlement. And I'm sure they did all that crap in executive session so that at the city council meeting, the taxpayers of Oklahoma County wouldn't know that they were paying out these settlements when the city had actually been dropped from the lawsuit. So at the same time before the settlements were announced, they dropped Daniel from the case. And they can't file it against him again. So that's done.
And it's good to have that behind us, or behind Daniel and his team. But at the same time, I mean, I know that those of us here on this panel, we did a lot of volunteer research, trying to help put together, exhibits and things. Not that we know what we were doing, but offering suggestions of things that we knew that were, inconsistent or blatant lies and things like that. And, I understand that there were quite a few exhibits ready for Daniel to go to trial on that civil lawsuit. And so, yeah, what a big break.
Yeah, everything was set to go.
Yeah.
Travis had assisted in drafting 2 or 3 motion and limine filings.
Yeah.
And I've always believed that those filings kind of freaked out the other side, because I think they felt like this was too overwhelming for one attorney to be organized and prepared to go to trial. I think they expected to mop the floor with us, with Daniel. And then they realized that not only was he ready for trial, they were learning that their petitions that they had filed were factually incorrect. Because I can't remember what it's called. Right before trial, you have to submit a document that basically is a game plan for how you're going to try it, which that seems weird to me. But that at that point, both sides got to see what was going on. And I think when that happened in conjunction with those motion and limines, I think it was just like, oh man, we do not want to do this.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be able to skate right through, but it didn't work.
That's true. That was true. It was a good feeling after so many hours of, trying to help organize things, and
So many months. I mean, we spent months.
yeah. I mean, by hours, I mean
hours at a time,
like
for sure.
hundreds
Yeah.
of hours.
Yeah, hundreds of hours. There was an entire year, I would say, that we spent probably together, just trying to coordinate and talk with each other. It was an experience I would do all over again. For somebody I believe is completely innocent, I would do it again in a heartbeat. Uh, and I learned so much. Oh my gosh, I learned a lot during trying to help with that. Um, I'm grateful for that opportunity that I have been able to help. So, but yeah, I mean, Carla Raines, as we've told you, Daniel was found not guilty. Thank God, on her charges. Uh, so, but I would argue too that there are other witness or other accusers' testimonies who are just as easily, the lies and inconsistencies are just as easily um, recognized or should have been recognized, but I think that their accusations were a lot more, what's the word? Like their accusations were a lot more aggressive acts that they claimed he had done, where she's just saying, well, yeah, he just pointed at this area, that's all she can say, about, and so for them to find him not guilty on hers, I think was a lot easier, because even if he did stop her and try to, indicate to her to do a clasp and shake or whatever, that's not anything inappropriate or against any policy violations at all. So
Right. But don't you think the downfall of that whole thing, and you notice Lori McConnell jumps up and objects, and she does not want that recording to come in. And I think that's really all the jury needed to hear, was her saying, no, no, how'd you get my name on something like this? Because I ain't really been on the street like that. I know. And then all of a sudden, she's a victim. And she has this weird, like you said, story that is like, he didn't touch her. He doesn't really do anything to her or tell her to raise her shirt. She just knew that that's what he wanted. So
He's a really bad guy.
yeah, he's a really, yeah, and he's a really bad guy.
A lot of victims.
lots of
Doing
lots
this
of
to
victims.
lots of women.
And he's having them do different things, and yeah.
Oh, you mean like if they do him a favor, they won't go to jail? Yeah,
Yeah,
you got it. You got it.
like a fucking leech, he jumped on that. Like he was, and that's where he took off. He's just like, okay, uh,
And
we're gonna go with this.
he takes the stand right after this,
Yeah,
which,
yeah,
he gets caught in so many lies when he takes the stand. It's so crazy.
yeah. And he's just dumb. I mean, the way he speaks is dumb. The way he testifies is dumb. The way he lies is dumb and so obvious. So, and you'll get to hear that next week, because we'll read Detective Gregory's testimony next week. We're just used to him being an idiot, though, whether he's writing a report that's full of shit or, doesn't matter. He's just an idiot. Um, so yeah, that was a good reading. I'm glad it was only 46 pages instead of the 76 that I thought it was. I have no idea what happened, but it worked out. So really quickly, I want to get to some comments and some big thank yous that I have for the chat, but I do want to talk about really briefly. There's not really much to say, but Richard Glossop, SCOTUS, heard Richard Glossop's case yesterday. And as soon as I was telling Cherie last night, we listened to it together, and I was telling her, I knew that I meant to look for it. I heard that SCOTUS had come back on Monday, and every time I heard that, I was like, gosh, I got to check Glossop's case, because his case should have been being heard by now. And sure enough, it was heard yesterday. Pardon me. Kay and Susan, I don't know if you had a chance to listen to it.
I
Or
did.
to read. You did, yeah.
Oh, I didn't make it all the way to the end yet, but
Oh, well, I
I
would
haven't.
say, and you haven't heard any of it, Susan?
Yeah.
Well, not gonna lie, I mean, I've listened to lots of different SCOTUS, hearings, and I mean, we've all listened to trials and all kinds of stuff that, we kind of pick up on some things, and we start to understand different little words, phrases, laws, things like that. I have to admit, listening to the beginning, probably the first half of this hearing, I think it was about an hour and a half or an hour and 45 minutes, Cherie. Listening to the first half, I was like, what the hell are they talking? I was really confused. Because there were three attorneys, and I was like, when I heard the second attorney, I thought, oh, okay, this is the state's attorney, representing the state. He was a state attorney, but he wasn't representing the state in that sense, in that context. Um, so they listened to both of them because this is a complex case the way it was presented to SCOTUS. At least as far as my knowledge is concerned, it was complex. I didn't like the arguments. I don't know how you felt about it, Kay. I didn't like the arguments, but they were valid. But I was just like, oh man, I don't know. I mean, that's probably what they knew they could, that there was, well, and that's what got Drummond admitted or whatever. So anyway, Richard Glossip, for those of you who don't know, and I think most of you here do know this, but he is from Oklahoma City. He's on death row. He's been on death row since 1997. I can never remember.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
97. Been to the death chamber, strapped down to the gurney 2 or 3 times. I'm going to have Cherie, or any of you on the panel actually, or any of the mods in the chat, drop the link for the Amazon killing Richard Glossip documentary in the chat. Anyway, he got convicted, wrongfully convicted. There's so much corruption and controversy surrounding Richard's case. He's on death row since then. Had his execution has been scheduled 5 times now, I think, 6 times. And he's been to the death chamber 3 times that I'm almost certain of. He's had like 2 or 3 last meals, this man. It's just horrific. And at any rate, the Attorney General, is that what it is? Attorney General Drummond?
Yes.
Okay. Of Oklahoma.
That's Galen Giger's boss now.
Yes. Oh, we were so glad when he took Richard Glossip's side, and now he's Giger's boss. But anyway, he saw a lot wrong with Richard Glossip's case. Glossip has had 2 trials. Both times he was convicted and sent to death row. But there's just a lot of bad corruption and lying and Brady evidence, in both trials. And anyway, I think if Cherie gets the chance, or if she has already, I'm not really looking, but there's a 4-part documentary on Amazon I think it's called Killing Richard Glossip. Very well done. It's old. It's probably about 10 years old by now, maybe. And so a lot more has happened since then, since the completion of the documentary. But at any rate, last year or this year, earlier this year, Glossip had a clemency hearing. He was denied clemency, obviously, and all the BS that went on with that, and the pardon and parole board, and 1 out of 5, 1 recused, so there was only 4, and it was just a mess. And so his death, or his execution, was scheduled again, and I believe he was scheduled to be executed in May of this year. Maybe, I'm not really exactly sure the month. Then it got stayed again because the Attorney General's like, no, there's something wrong. I don't want to be the Attorney General who's in office. He didn't say this, but basically, I don't want to be the Attorney General in office when it's possible that an innocent man may be executed.
Actually,
So,
he just admitted that they had a Brady violation, and that that's
yeah,
not a fair trial.
right.
He still said that he would retry him.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's not like he's gonna just get out and be exonerated.
No.
So Drummond's just admitting the Brady violation.
Yeah, that the state made an error. Yeah, Kay's much better. I should always just let her explain those things because
Oh, not necessarily.
I feel like I feel like I have to give all the details when you really put it in a nutshell much better. I'm not good at nutshelling stuff, but yeah. So yes, he basically the SCOTUS heard the case yesterday. When you're listening to the first half, it sounds like the male judges are pretty aggressive um, with the defense attorneys, or at least I felt that way. Um, but the ladies, I was really surprised. All of the ladies, and I think Cherie and I talked about it later, all of the lady judges they kind of took the state's attorney, like the legitimate attorney, they kind of took him to task and really put him back on his heels. And it was kind of nice to hear them. Cherie,
Yeah,
tell them what you thought.
it was a great thing to hear. I was very appreciative of it. The guy that's arguing against all this, what Mitchell, I think his name is, he was um, basically saying that, well, even if they hit it, the defense should have known, what they were hiding.
Yeah,
He was just
blamed
a
the state
jerk.
or yeah.
Yeah.
He blamed the defense that they didn't know there was a Brady violation. Typical prosecutor, right? Gosh. Yeah, yeah. Cherie and I had a good little conversation about it last night. Just kind of, waving. Not that I do this. I mean, I don't care. But we were waving the woman flag last night because those ladies really did take those that attorney to task, and it was kind of funny because you could hear him, or at least it was my perception. You could hear him getting more and more, like his arrogance and ego were shot down, and he did not like it. So it's available. You can go and listen to the hearing, at the SCOTUS uh, website, whatever that is. Listen to it. I downloaded the transcript of it. So if you just wanted to read the transcript, and I'd like to read the transcript at least along with listening to it, because I think it would be easier. Cherie and I were trying to, I'm not good at all with the justices' voices at all. I mean, I know I know Clarence Thomas's voice, and I think I'm pretty well familiar with Jackson's voice. The rest of them, it's like, I'm like, oh, I'm having to, anyway, so we were kind of trying to guess that last night, but, being able to read the transcript and see which judge was actually saying what things, is helpful. So I have
Didn't
that
you and
available as well.
I was going to say, didn't you and Jack post them in Daniel's Discord, in Richard's section, Richard Glossop's section?
I
I thought
I
Jack said he was going to anyway.
I know Jack and I posted a newspaper article, I think, and I posted the link for the hearing in Discord, and I think in Foul Play's Discord as well. So, I didn't upload I don't think I uploaded the um, transcript of it though. Anyway, it just ended. It was really weird. We're listening, and the state's attorney was finished an answer, and everybody said nope, 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 no more questions. And then they said we're done. They just cut off the mics, and I was like, dang, it was a pretty cold hard stop. But anyway, so I don't know. I mean, of course, we have no idea when there's going to be a response. A decision made by by SCOTUS. But if they judge in favor of the defense, then it will. I well, it's hard for me to. Kay, you or Cherie can probably explain it better. I know what I want to say, but I'm not finding the right words to say it. If SCOTUS goes again, sides with the state of Oklahoma, then I think either way it goes back down to the lower court, doesn't it?
Yeah, they would send it back to the district court for I don't know if they need an evidentiary hearing or if it would just be a new trial.
I Cherie, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what it sounded like, nobody on any of the sides wants an evidentiary hearing.
Yeah, that's what I was gathering too. They kept saying there's, there's no need for an evidentiary hearing. But the last case in Oklahoma that I followed was the Glenn Simmons case, and he was incarcerated for like 47 or 48 years. And there was a Brady violation, and it was actually the prosecutor who admitted to the Brady violation, the prosecutor who was long retired. And they held an evidentiary hearing that was 2 days, and Simmons testified, as well as many of his other family members and his co-defendant, who had also been convicted and served his prison sentence and had already been released. All of those people testified in Oklahoma County District Court in front of Judge Amy Palumbo. And she was pissed about the Brady violation. She was pissed about, at the time, ADA Brandt, I can't think of his last name. He works closely with Giger, and he also went up to the AG's office with Giger. But she was pissed at him for, trying to even argue the fact about it, because, he was trying to say, we don't even need to have this evidentiary hearing. And she said, oh, yeah, we're going to have it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
you need to sit down and shut up, is how it came across. And it was just crazy. But so I don't know if there'll be an evidentiary hearing or not.
Yeah. You mean for gossip?
Yeah, for Glossop. Yeah,
Glossop, yeah.
Simmons is out. He's been exonerated
out,
and
finally.
actually has a certificate of, what is it called?
Full exoneration, isn't it?
Yeah, but a
I don't know what
certificate
it's
of,
called. Yeah.
I can't think what the term is. Anyway.
I can't think of it either.
So yeah, I mean, it'll be another situation like that, I believe.
Yeah. All I can say is that I'm literally praying. I don't know how devastating or how devastated I would be, any of us, not just me, but anybody, the people of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Richard's family, Dr. Phil, I'm anxious to see if Dr. Phil's going to have anything to say. Although I'm not really a fan of Dr. Phil, I am interested to see if he's going to make any comments on SCOTUS hearings yesterday. But man, it would be completely, utterly devastating if they, schedule him to be executed again, and he's actually executed. It would just be crushing, soul crushing. And it's why I do what I do. It's why I don't. Why I don't support the death penalty. And uh, Richard Glossop has a huge team and a huge, great team of people that are working for him and helping him, and trying to get his freedom, his exoneration. And we just have a little thimbleful comparatively for Daniel's case, but it's okay, because more and more we're getting the word out, and I think that's the most important thing. I think, and there are lots of people in the chat today who know that I've been having a problem with my YouTube. Like, I can't go into other YouTube people's live streams and comment or chat. I can chat and I can see my chat, the people in the chat can tag me randomly if they want to see if I'm there, but they can't see me chatting back at them. So that's been going on almost a week now, and it's been extremely frustrating. Um, Although I did get to chat all morning this morning in the live stream, which was amazing because that hasn't happened in a week. But anyway, I kind of feel like I have no evidence of this, and it's the only reason that I can think of it is just because it's something new that I've started associated with the channel, with this channel, is that I've been streaming regularly to Twitter. I've been doing these live streams, to Twitter as well as to, or X, as well as to YouTube. So I don't know, there's probably a much bigger audience that are seeing some of the names come across my Twitter feed or whatever it is. And, possibly more people are seeing it and paying attention to it that way. Possibly somebody has made a complaint, and that could be why I'm being disappeared randomly, off and on. I don't know. I'm just kind of like, what has changed that would make that happen? That's the only thing I can think of. And the thing of it is, because we're reading trial transcripts, and it's hard to deny a truth or a lie when it's being read to you from a trial transcript or a document. And, because we're able to do that and make it more public, maybe some people out there are threatened. I don't know. But their lies and the corruption are being exposed. And so I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Doesn't matter. But I just wanted to, well, it does matter, but I just wanted to kind of explain, what was going on with Richard Glossip. If you guys can look up his case, his story. There's a Facebook page. I think it's called Save Richard Glossip. I can't remember. Anyway, his story is crazy. There's old video of interrogations that you will see if you watch the documentary. You would see it in there. Just check it out because it's a really, really awful story. Okay, I need to, first of all, there's a lot of folks here that have joined our chat today that I know from other chats, from other groups, which is amazing, and I'm so excited to have all of you here, and I appreciate your support. But I do want to, we have Liam today. It's good to see you again, Liam. Under your scars. You know what? You're good. You don't have to explain why you're late or anything else. You're completely fine. I'm just glad you're here. But I've got some star messages. I want to make sure that, that I'm thanking, Tony Hay Munkett. Hey, Tony Hay. Thank you for becoming a member. Tony doesn't know anything about this case. But maybe he wants to learn now. I hope so, because he's been extremely generous. Besides making his own membership to the channel, he has gifted a lot of memberships to the channel, which is so awesome, Tony. I'm not surprised. But I'm so grateful. So thank you so much. So there's 5, and I don't see who they are because I've gone way past that part. But there's another one, Tony A. And there's 5 more. So what? 5 more? 16 gifted memberships plus his own membership to the channel today. That's amazing. I don't have any words to express how grateful I am to you for doing that, but I'm not surprised. Like I said, I know Tony Hay from another channel that I watch daily, Robert Gouveia, Esquire, YouTube. And I'm a member in that channel because Tony Hay, several months ago when I first started watching the channel, I got a gifted membership from Tony Hay. And so he's like my little dear friend that I've always been really grateful to for sharing his kindness, and he's always very generous in other YouTube channels as well. So again, thank you so much, Tony Hay. Liam, I want to try to get some of these comments from the chat. Liam says, while we were reading, because I couldn't post any comments while I was reading because I was reading and scrolling. So, did anyone really think she would keep any drugs she may have in her pockets? And if you got a gifted membership from Tony, put a thumbs up or something in the chat for me. I would imagine everybody here did. So you know, if you got a gifted membership from Tony, just give us a thumbs up. Yeah, well, and Liam, you're always really quick to pick up on you know, all the little lies and inconsistencies. So I don't know. The question is valid, but at the same time it's invalid because we know none of that happened. And I have to ask the panel a question really quick. At the end, when when Lori McConnell was showing a picture of the location and asking her to step down and point to where she was and this the place, and but what was the point of that? There was no point to that line of questioning whatsoever.
She was just trying to deflect from what the jury just heard. The lies that came out, the
It
interview
had to, yeah, it had to
was
be.
ridiculous. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's all it was.
it was so gratuitous, like 100% gratuitous. None of
She
that
didn't
was
even
ever in
touch
question.
on. She didn't touch on the recording at all,
Hmm.
or the
Yeah,
inconsistencies. Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Um, I remember this part of the testimony, so I kind of know what you're referring to. That word satisfied is carrying a lot of baggage, yeah. Referring to Carla Raines saying that he looked satisfied after she did the clasp and shake. Okay, what the hell is that supposed to mean? So, yeah, thanks, Tony. Or Liam. Tony loves me. I love Rhonda. She's a cool person. I know a lot of the people that got a membership for her, but I don't see them here right now, which is kind of weird. I usually always have a pretty small audience, Tony. Although I will have to say, changing to this time of the day seems like we're getting a few more, which is nice. So, but thank you. I love you too, and you're also very cool, very generous. I don't know what the deal is. I hopefully that got better as the time went on, as the live stream went on. I didn't, like I said, I haven't really read, but I appreciate that notification. Um, I wasn't on the phone with Daniel. TJK was, and I was reading her part for her. Um, And no, he didn't say anything. According to her, he just indicated like this. Make your own pictures in your mind. It is a bullshit story. Okay, Kay, that's fine. I don't know what that's about. Yeah, you're fine to go and leave. Sorry, I'm trying to wrap up here. But anyway, Kay has to leave. There's weird news stuff, really good, great updates going on with StreamYard. And when she's trying to leave the studio, it's telling her, you can't leave. You have to wait till the video is uploaded and recorded. You can leave. I don't think there's a problem with that. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But, so, let's see. TJ says, I thought so too. There was only 7 of us here, 2 or 3 being mods, so I guess they go to subscribers not in the chat at the time, and learn something new. Yeah, I guess so too, but mods are also eligible. I mean, hopefully hopefully those gifted memberships went to all of you that are here. I don't know why, but I do hear that if there's not enough people in the chat at the time, that they do go to members outside. So, um, let's see. Because it isn't the story she agreed to. Well, yeah, yeah, I know. She effed up that whole recording part of the thing. She just couldn't even. There were lies within her lies that were just bizarre. Um, let's see. Yes, thanks for the gifts again, Tony. Everybody is so appreciative um, of that generosity. Um, Tony says, thank you for thanking me. I did it for Rhonda. She's a cool person. I don't come here that often because I'm usually behind in what she's doing. Yeah, usually, yeah. And you're not familiar with the case, and I know that you're usually watching another live stream or working, so it's all good. It's all good. I appreciate you being here. Um, let's see. Um, Tony Hay says, I've been court numerous times for my lawyer has done anyone really win. It costs me thousands of dollars that I will never recover to prove I'm innocent. Yeah. Uh, it's harder to prove your innocence than I think people think it is. And we've seen that. Um, uh, Sheila, Kay's word today was substantive. Mine is always one that I don't say unless I have to if I'm reading it, but I do practice it because it does pop up and it's embarrassing to say that incorrectly. It's been such a big thing that I have actually, my very good friends made a t-shirt for me that says keep calm and coabowate. So I appreciate that. But I have a couple of words. Similar is hard for me to say as well. So, um, yeah, so I love that, everybody having their own little words. Let's see. Um, oh gosh, I know I've probably missed a lot of other things. It's hard for me to read and scroll at the same time because I miss all the comments in the chat. Mama Pillow is also, hi Mama Pillow, um, from from another chat that I watch channel, Robert Cavalier. So thank you, Mama Pillow, for being here. Um, I hope that some of you will take the chance. I put the Discord, my link to my Discord in the chat, or yeah, in the chat. If you want to learn more about Daniel's case, I encourage you to go there. Each accuser has their own room, and I'm still filling those rooms with their trial testimony and police reports and things like that. It's not really very as functional as I would like it to be, but it's it's a place to start and definitely ask questions. Um, so then I saw somebody else that I wanted to make sure I said hello to before I let you guys all go. I thought I saw Jennifer also. So this is great that I've got new people coming, even if they're people who are completely unfamiliar with the case. Hopefully what you do come here and hear is compelling enough that it makes you curious and want to learn more, because it's really, it's a very crazy, sad case. And for those of you who are new to this case, Daniel was convicted of 18 of 36 of these charges and sent to prison for 263 years, no possibility of parole. So it's horrific what's been done to him, and it's just a totally corrupt system. TJ, if you're still here, he can kind of give you an idea too of what it's like in Oklahoma City. Um, so, you know, I know everybody's busy and you have other channels that you're watching and you're committed to, and I get it, I understand. But, you know, I don't know, if you ever find yourself bored, perhaps you can, you know, start paying attention. I would start, if I were you, with holtzclawtrial.com. Brian Bates was the investigator for Daniel's defense team, and he has all the receipts, every bit of it. And he does an amazing job of breaking it down. And in conjunction with holtzclawtrial.com, you can listen to his podcast of the first part of the first season, um, that Bates Investigates. At anywhere that you want to listen to your podcast, you can listen to that. Those podcasts are amazing because Brian Bates knows what he's talking about. Like I said, he has all the receipts, and you will learn so much, and you will be so shocked by the things that he reveals, and you know, tells you. Yes, there's my sunshine sister, I call her, Jennifer. Hi, Jennifer. It's so great to have you here. Thank you so much. Um, yeah, yes, I don't know. Yeah, I know. He, well, first of all, he didn't do any of the things he was convicted of. Even if he did touch any of them or whatever he was accused of, he didn't kill anybody. Like, he didn't murder anybody. Uh, to be sentenced to 263 years and you didn't take a life is insane. Um, Even some people who believe he's guilty, even some of those people believe that the amount of time that they sentenced him to was to me it's an Eighth Amendment violation. But you know, what do I know? I'm not a constitutional law person, and you know, all that stuff. But anyway, so uh, excuse me. I've been doing really good this last few weeks and keeping these live streams under 2 hours. Today I've kind of gone over, but I feel like we covered quite a bit. Hopefully helped with some information and some details about Carla Raines' case and her accusations. And it's been an amazing chat, possibly the most chat I've ever had in, you know, during a live stream. So I appreciate all of you guys. Oh, thank you. Liam put the link for killing Richard Glossop in the chat. It's super good. Voice of the People. So grateful to have you here and have your support too. Thank you so much. Voice of the People has a podcast called Off Label Podcast. Also really great information if that's something you're interested in, for sure. But it's called Off Label Podcast. He does have YouTube, but then it goes over to Rumble because, you know, not everything's always YouTube friendly, as I know. So it's so great to see you. And Arizona 24/7 Live, AZ Skies, thank you for being here as well. Yeah, I'll do that. Rich, I can do that too. So thank you for that. But I think unless there's any questions or comments that you'd like me to address right now, I just want to say thank you to everybody that joined us today. It's been a great audience and lots of help, and I appreciate you guys, everybody, for being here. Kay, Susan, Cherie for reading with me, and you know, just every ounce of support we get is so helpful. And again, with all the new members and the new chatters that have come in today, thank you so much. Thank you, Tony Hay, for 16 gifted memberships. I appreciate you so much. And I think we're going to drop it there. I don't even know if Susan's here anymore. I know Kay's left. I don't know if Susan's here or Cherie, because I'm always running my mouth so much that I hardly let other people get, their words in edgewise. So,
I'm here.
okay.
So is my dog.
So's the puppy, yeah. Okay. Unless anybody has anything, any other comments on the panel, I think we're going to wrap it up. Please come back next week. Should be close to this same time period. Streamyard was not letting me schedule today's podcast for whatever reason. It was a struggle, but we finally got it scheduled. And so, barring any more crazy glitches next week, come back next week and listen to one version of the most stupid, lying, nasty, ugly testimonies from Detective Rocky Gregory. It will be interesting, and you don't want to miss it. If nothing else, it's just entertaining to listen to his BS. And then, when we're reading it, sometimes we get so exasperated with it that we have to comment. And those are usually pretty funny. So, but great day today, guys. Thank everybody so much for being here. I just can't tell you how much I appreciate the support. Until next week, peace out.